Vikram, thank you for coming across over to New York to chat with me. My name is Ash Singh. How you doing?
Hi, Ash. Good morning. I'm doing good. Thank
Good
you
morning.
so much for having me and sparing time for me.
My pleasure.
Let me quickly start with my introduction. My name is Vikram and I'm founder and CEO at Vasitum, Vasitum.com. Vasitum is an end-to-end recruitment automation platform. Most of us have been part of the recruitment process, either being a hiring manager or a recruiter, or perhaps a candidate, and I'm sure each one of us gone through our share of troubles in the entire process. For hiring managers or recruiters, process is broken in multiple smaller pieces and involves a lot of manual processing. On an average, a recruiter jumps anywhere between 3 to 6 platforms to do one task, which is recruitment. And for candidates, process lacks complete transparency. And if we really do a quick flashback into recruitment industry, we would realize, the recruitment process hasn't really evolved in last 2 decades. I think the last disruption we all experienced was the birth of these job boards back in 96, 97, 98. That's when the birth of Monster, Career Builder, and Dice, and so on and so forth happened. But post that, the recruitment process hasn't really changed. These job boards have become smarter and faster, but the process pretty much remains the same. So that's what we are trying to change, the hiring process with the use of Vasitum. A recruiter will be able to manage end-to-end recruitment lifecycle under one platform, right from sourcing candidates, screening candidates, assessments, interview scheduling, document collection, document validation, background checks, and offer rollout. Everything happens under one platform, that too with the flavor of automation. I've been part of recruitment industry for about 2 decades, and I've done recruitments pretty much across the globe, right from Japan to South America, from Russia to Middle East, and that's how got experience and my learnings, and we are implementing all of them to make recruitment a lot more efficient. With the use of Vasitum, recruiters are going to be efficient by about 300% more, and we'll bring in complete transparency in the recruitment process for the candidates as well. Currently, we are doing our pre-series A round for about 3.5 million USDs, and the entire money is going to be used for product enhancement. And we are going to be launching additional geographies. So currently we've built and tested Vasitum in India. And as soon as we close this round of funding, we are going to be launching it in US as well. Thank you, Ash.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your pitch. Now, what we're going to do is let's activate a little bit harder, right? We're going through the session. We have, we've heard a couple of pitches right now. Vikram, there will be some feedback in the chat for you. But Vikram, for me, I'm a couple of thoughts that were coming through my mind is, the whole recruiting lifeline, right? You look at hiring agencies, there's so many of them. And basically what you are doing is you are going to be the smart brains of these hiring agencies, right? Is that correct?
Agencies is one set of cohort we've got in terms of customer segmentation. But the employers themselves will also use a platform to a larger extent. Yeah.
So what I was trying to understand is, where do you fit in the ecosystem? Because what you're saying is you save 300% of people's time, right? It's 300%.
Yeah. So for a layman, a recruiter will be able to do 3 recruiters' job with the use of Vasitum.
Yeah. So that's the other thing, right? And so when I was thinking about some of the words you were using, I was thinking less like, instead of 300%, I would use words like 1/3 the time, right? To recruit somebody is 1/3 the time. And I don't know if it actually saves money as well.
But it saves time and money both. Yeah.
Right. So I wanted to understand that, right? The other thing is that I was thinking about, when you think about recruiting, right, at least in the startup sphere, right, our startups have raised a ton of money, right? And most of the money that's used for fundraising goes into hiring. So we spend a lot of time talking to our startups, and 50% on average, Vikram, you know this better than I do, but at least in the startup industry, 50% of startups are bad hires. Does that make sense? I don't know if that's industry average, Vikram.
It's pretty much industry. So the larger companies even have more numbers.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a pyramid. So irrespective.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to know as you were doing this is not just saving time and money, but it was also about the result. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, pretty much. It
So
does.
that didn't come out. I wanted that to come out in your pitch, right? Using your tools, you can hire tons of people and improve the time and money around that. But if your platform is not improving outcomes, right? Then that you know what I mean? That's the thing. If you think about the burning point around hiring, okay? I think when I look at it, it's very obvious, right? There's number one is speed. Okay, we live in a world where everyone is jumping from job to job, right? So you've checked that box, right? The speed, the speed, time, all of those components are checked, right? And the money piece is checked. But how much better are you at hiring, Vikram?
Quality is missing, you're saying.
Tell me about that. Let's talk about that. Let's get that hard question to you, right? If I'm an investor, and I'm sure people are thinking about this in the chat, what is that value to you, right? Tell me about that, right? Like
absolutely, Ash. I'm glad I wanted to I was waiting for your elevator to stop so that I could reach you on one side of the deck.
I can adjust it anytime, right? I can always go back for coffee as well. No problem.
Oh yeah.
So we've gotten to the coffee stage.
And let's take a deep dive.
But tell me about the quality. Let's talk.
Absolutely. A great question, Ash. So right from the screening process, a quality parameters kicks in. Right from the stack ranking. So what it happens, the moment we look at the entire process of Vasitum, what Vasitum does, Vasitum starts with the sourcing candidates. So for example, let's say we do a social profiling. Our bots will go all out to do social profiling of the candidates they're looking at. And let's say in response to one job, they've got about 500 candidates, they did their social profiling. Then our system will do stack ranking of those social profiles. Now, in terms of stack ranking, that's like finding the top fit, 90% fit, 95% fit, 80% fit. Basis that fitment criteria, our system is going to be initiating the communication with these candidates, which is going to be the top 5 or top 10% of the rack. Basis the quantum we are looking at. Once that communication kicks off, that communication can happen over WhatsApp, on chatbot, on email, different kind of messengers. That again will bring in a lot more efficiency and the speed in the process. Then our bots will get activated to evaluate those candidates on the hard questions, which are going to be relevant to the job. Again, putting in a next set of cleansing in terms of a better hire. Once that happens, and remember, everything is happening automatically without any manual bias or manual interventions. The next thing is going to be auto assessments. So all those selected candidates will get assessed by the system.
Yes.
Again, putting a next check on the quality of hire. Yeah. Once that happens, then the first round of interview, which is going to be set up again by the system, will happen. So these are the first initial few parameters, but in due course of time, which is about 9 to 12 months, we are also coming up with a gamified assessments.
Okay.
So the current assessments are largely on the hard skills. I mean, the way we segregate, the assessments are hard skills and soft skills. Sure. So largely what we do in assessments, we may check their coding competencies, we may check their knowledge, we may check their analytics, statistics, mathematics, communication. Sure. When it comes to their cultural fitment in the team, once it comes to their aptitude, attitude, not the aptitude. Aptitude is hard skills. Attitude. Once it comes to how they may respond in a particular situation. So there we are building a gamified assessment engine, which will further enhance their cultural fitment and their competency within a given job profile. So if you're hiring a salesperson, how aggressive this salesperson is going to be, how persistent this salesperson is going to be, and so on and so forth.
Interesting. So some great questions in the chat that are firing right now. Is this product going to work specifically for somebody that has a social profile and a lot of information on the web? Does it work that better for that, Vikram? Is it more? No,
not really. As long as we have some information. So let's say if you do not have your digital footprint, but somebody uploaded your CV on our platform, we are good with that. The idea is to have some information from anywhere, whether it is coming in from social, digital footprints, or somebody manually processing that information.
Got it.
Once we have that information, we are all good to go. And we are industry agnostic, we are geography agnostic. The way we are building our models, we can be pretty much anywhere, right from Japan to South America.
Understood. Got it. Got it. So you got these components together. And, when I think about what you're building, my view is that you're going to build something that is going to, because part of it was where this is going, right? And so when I look at this, are you going to eliminate, my thought process is if you're successful, then hiring agencies don't even need to exist. Is that correct?
Not really. Not really. So because what happens, every organization, first, these hiring agencies have the largest pie in the recruitment economy share. And that's globally, right?
Yeah.
Two, most of the organizations does not have a recruitment ecosystem in place, and they don't want to invest in it. So we may eliminate the need of having separate job boards, separate ATS, separate tools to manage different things, separate background company, separate assessments. We will eliminate all these different tools. But will we be able to eliminate recruitment firms? I mean, they are an integral part of the hiring process.
Got it. So they're your customers. What you're going to do is you're going to power their platforms, right? You're going to make sure that
they're one of the largest. Yeah, they're going to be one of the largest cohort for us.
Got it. Got it. So that's kind of where you're tackling it, right? So what happens is if I own a hiring agency, I use your platform and I'm able to activate accordingly, correct?
Absolutely. And go to your customer and tell them that you don't need assessment company, you don't need background check company, you don't need to manually validate the documents or collect documents. I give you end-to-end, I give you one window, you look at that, you see your dashboard, you see your analytics, and you see how your processing is happening.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
So it's a value add basically.
Absolutely. So you're putting this together, you're looking for $3.5 million, right?
That's right.
To build it out. And this is your pre-series A, you said, right?
That's right, yeah.
And that's where you want to go. All right, let me give it a go, Vikram. Let me pitch Vasitum.
Vasitum, yeah, I wanted to correct this earlier. It's called Vasitum.
Vasitum. I'm thinking about, there's a channel in Singapore that we used to have on our thing called Vasitum, but that's a different word altogether.
Vasitum is a Sanskrit word.
Tell us what Vasitum for the people.
Vasitum stands for infinite. So all we wanted to communicate infinite opportunity.
Vasitum. Okay. It's a Sanskrit word? Sanskrit word?
Sanskrit word.
Yes. Okay.
Stands for infinite, limitless opportunities.
Wow. Okay. So infinite opportunities. All right. Yeah. Vasitum. Let's get that going. I should have the name right before I pitch. So I appreciate that. So let's do this. We're going to jump back into elevator mode. Okay. And, let us talk about how we're going to disrupt the hiring and recruiting industry. So I'm going to pitch to you, Vikram. So what you need to do is just introduce yourself. And how big is the recruiting industry again? How big is it?
It's next year. It's going to be over $1 trillion industry.
$1 trillion. Okay. And how much is the hiring agencies? They're what, 70% of that?
I would easily peg it at about 45 to 50%.
50%. Okay, so let's do it. So it's a $500 million industry. Okay,
500 billion. Yeah, 500 billion.
$500 billion. All right, let's do this, Vikram. I'll hand it over to you for your introduction, and let's give it a shot. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning, Ash. My name is Vikram. Good to meet you.
Vikram, it's my pleasure. My name is Ash Singh, and I want to talk to you about our platform, Vasitum, right? And what we're doing right now, as you know, the hiring and recruiting industry is in a state of disruption. You've seen what's happened with COVID and how hiring processes are changing, how millennials are working and switching jobs. And so we decided, after spending the last 15 years in the recruiting industry, we felt that we were the right people to transform this industry. And so what we have done is we've created a black box that basically solves all the mundane workflows of hiring for hiring managers and allows them to have it all connected, from recruiting to screening to background checks, everything all done in one. So a recruiter can get stuff done in 1/3 the time for half the cost. But not only that, the quality of the recruits instead of 50% success rates in hiring, we actually have close to 75%. And we've been able to build all the processes out. We've tested it out. We have enough market traction to make a dent in the industry. And we are looking for around $3.5 million for our pre-Series A investment to get this off the ground and truly transform and make a dent in the $1 trillion hiring recruiting industry and go after the $500 billion market of the recruiters, right? The hiring managers, and see where that goes. I'd love to chat to you more about this over a coffee and maybe even test it out with you and see if you can, how you like the tool. Thank you, Vikram.
Thank you, Ash.
Right. So I tried to take, again, the top-down approach, Vikram, with regards to kind of the industry, where it's going, but the key element was the quality of hiring, okay? I felt like that was the key element, right? All the things that you're doing, you're going to save time and all that stuff, but that quality, and we need to validate that, Vikram. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Because what I didn't say was how am I, improving 50% quality. That's what I'm saying, from 50% to 75%. I want that to come out. I want you to talk about the intelligence of what you're doing, okay? And how long have you been in the industry, Vikram?
2 decades, 20 years.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You don't look that old. So, clearly you have good genes from your parents. But the thing is I needed that to come out. And that didn't come out. The fact that you've been in the industry and you've been able to see this transformation, and you have your own methodology on how to do it. And now you've packaged it, and now you are going to, because you are the best recruiter, right? You are bringing that into a black box and scaling using intelligence to make sure everyone else can have it.
Sure.
Okay. And then even bake in some of the pricing models, right? What does that actually look like? How do they come on board? I wanted that to kind of be baked in. These are questions that were coming through my mind.
I was, as it is, shooting off the time. I had about 2 minutes, and I shot about 2.5.
Yeah. No problem.
Yeah.
And you know what? You'll have a couple of them. I thought your pitch was great, but I want, these are some of the elements that I'm thinking about from an investor perspective, right?
Gotcha.
An investor perspective, right? And part of it, Vikram, is like, your product is one of those products where you can be, the guy should be like, holy cow, you can do that, And that's what I want to come out, Vikram, as you're pitching. Okay. Sure. That's what I want, right? Because your timing is great. Finding people and getting those components is really important. So let's make sure we package that right and move from there, right? So thank you very much, Vikram. Always a pleasure. Thank you for coming by all the way from New Jersey, and have a wonderful holiday. And thank you again. Look forward to seeing where this goes. All right. Thank you very much.
We'll keep you
all right.
Thank you.